to the January 11th, 2023 Stoughton Redevelopment Authority monthly meeting. This meeting is being taped by SMAC and is being recorded for future broadcast and internet access. Given that it is 6:10 p.m., I would ask for a motion to open the meeting that I am calling to order.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That's unanimous. We have 3 members with us tonight, which is a quorum. First item of business is public comments. Is there any comments from the public? Now would be the time. Just you, Ms. Walsh.
Well, I didn't have any opportunity last night, so,
Well, you always have an opportunity here, so.
well, you know how frequently I interrupt you to make corrections, so I'll save my comments for later.
It's quite all right. We always encourage your wisdom to be put to good use here.
Thank you.
Chairman's comments, I just have a couple of things. The SRA, 2 members were invited to meet with the new town manager, Tom Coulter. We met with him yesterday, and myself and Reggie Nunnally did, and it was a really good meeting. I think a lot of forward progress. Reggie, do you agree?
I agree.
Yeah.
You know, one of the things I was impressed with, that he actually said he wanted to partner with us.
He did, and that was an important factor for me, certainly hearing that our new town manager is interested in partnering with the SRA is a really positive step forward. So wanted to let everybody know about that. Another minor item, our program administrator, Donna Jutras, has been called to jury duty on the 6th of February, 2 days before our next regularly scheduled meeting. Just in the event that Donna ends up getting sequestered or can't be here, I have reached out to the CPC program admin and asked if he'd be willing to take notes if she can't be here. He said yes, he would be. So we're prepared, although I'm not anticipating it. Donna will likely be with us, but just in case, I wanted everybody to know that that's covered. The last item I have is I have met, if you'll remember, we had 2 applications for work to be done at 100 Page Street through Win Waste, which is the owner-operator of the C&D facility, construction and debris facility. I had met today with Scott Turgeon and Bill Thompson, the environmental officer and general manager of the plant. We had 2 applications, one for storm retention basin mitigation, and one for the storm drain silt mitigation. Neither of those projects have been completed as of yet. So I reached out to Scott, asked him what was going on. They met with me today to go over some of the details. I won't bore you. You'll get that information as it comes to me. Again, pretty positive things, but it was something that as an authority we need to keep on top of because it's not happening quickly. So I will give you a better update at our next meeting. This just happened this morning, so I didn't have an opportunity to write it up. But I'll send that out to you. The only thing I ask is that if you have any comments on the notes that I made, send them to Donna so we can incorporate it into our February meeting. With that said, is there any member comments? Reggie, I'll let you
Yeah,
go
I
first.
just have one comment.
Please.
Last year, you know, I had talked about having a ribbon cutting, you know, for our office. And I have put together a very small program that I'd like to be able to institute at the end of this month.
Okay.
You know, we don't have a lot of space, but I think that, you know, each of us could invite, you know, approximately 5 people, have a small speaking program, and actually officially let folks know that we're open for business.
Excellent.
I identified, up for discussion, but I identified the 31st of this month, time to, I'm retired, so I can certainly do it at any given time, and I know everybody else is working. But I would like to have it at a convenient time so that if anyone did want to stop by, they could. Now, the 31st is only a
Couple
time,
of weeks away.
and there was no rhyme or reason why I picked it. It was just at the end of the month. It could be a Saturday, which would be the 28th. It's very small. Everything is really lined up. Need a couple of speakers. And it's just to let people know that we're open in some of the accomplishments that we've done to date.
Excellent.
And it's an introduction to who we are.
I think that's a great idea. I could think of a few people. I might suggest keeping it on a weekday so that if we wanted to invite the manager or any folks from town hall, whether it be Mark Tisdale or whomever you might see, it might be a little easier for them to do a
Sure.
week evening. I know that the select board are meeting on the 31st. I do not know what time, but I would anticipate 7:30. So if we did this around 5,
5 o'clock would be fine.
people could still be home for dinner, but it's late enough in the day where I think you'll get participation.
That would be great.
So I look forward, if you can send that program out.
I'll send the program
Yeah.
around. I should have sent it around. I did work on it over the week, not the weekend, over the holiday season. So it's very small,
Okay.
but I think impactful.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. It's good, maybe some of the business owners too.
Exactly.
I'll start thinking about it and I encourage all the members to do the same. We'll get that info to Donna so there's no concern about open meeting violations and she can organize it from there, but good idea so far.
That's my comment.
Okay. Andrew?
I'm good.
All right. Donna, do you have any comments as our
The only
administrator?
2 comments I have are, I did contact the DPW about possibly picking up the file cabinets at the school, at the Hanson School, since there hasn't been any movement there. And I did contact the school department and I have not heard back from either party.
Okay.
The other thing is, I did work on the scan project further, and I scanned from 1988 to about 2012, I think it is.
It was 12.
So that is all scanned. The 2 problems that I did encounter were there were executive session minutes mixed in, so I did have to separate those as I went along. And then the other problem that I encountered is some of the minutes say planning board on the top of them, but then when you actually get into them, they say the SRA met with the planning board, and some of them don't say that at all. They just say planning board, and then they say the SRA was at the meeting. So you can't tell whether it's a joint meeting or the SRA was just.
Well, if they were there, it's likely they'd be a joint meeting. You could reach out to Dan Kelly to verify that. He's the chair of the planning board right now.
Okay,
He may or may not have that information. You can also ask Pam McCarthy, who is filling in as our interim town planner. She may also have access to that information.
okay, and then there were memos mixed in, and then one final thing was there were meetings that the SRA did not attend, but it pertained to topics that were relevant to the SRA, and those were mixed in as well, so.
Yeah, I mean, my gut instinct says include any kind of information like that you can, just make sure it's clear that they're not minutes of one of our meetings.
Okay, we'll do.
Just information that we felt was important.
John, on the equipment that's at the school,
Yes.
do you have an inventory of what that might be?
I can make an inventory,
Doesn't seem like it's a whole lot, but
well,
it's something.
it's a good
It's odds and
amount.
ends, but I think an inventory would be helpful.
Yeah, it is a good amount. It's about 10 file cabinets, 2 or 3 folding tables, a metal bookshelf, and a desk.
Okay, all right. It would be something that if DPW doesn't, we probably have to hire a couple of couple of people.
So you had reached out to the DPW on this. Did you ever get a response on that? I know you spoke to somebody.
I spoke to Nancy Fisher and,
Did she return?
she said, I will get back to you, but I don't believe it's something we can assist you with.
Oh, okay.
But you have not heard back yet.
I have not.
So maybe follow up with her before the deadline on that. Let's just one way or the other get that dealt with. There perhaps is a metal guy that can take most of that metal stuff. I don't see why not. That'll have to be coordinated through you, Donna. So
Okay.
we'll work on that. There's also a couple of junk guys around that'll come and pick stuff up if need be. So let's get rid of the stuff we can first, the
Yeah.
metal,
Okay,
and we'll go from there. Anything else?
that's it.
Okay. Moving on to item 2, which is routine matters. Minutes of the previous meeting, which was held on the 14th of December 2022. First of all, do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
Motion to approve the minutes from the previous
Second.
meeting.
Okay. And is there any discussion on the motion? Is there any changes or comments anybody has? No, hearing none. We'll take a vote. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That was unanimous, Donna. Payment of bills, you get the regular listing of monthly bills. The only 2 things on here that are not unusual but unpaid, and obviously National Grid and Verizon are regular recurring bills for $63.88 and $85.94 respectfully. But the administrative assistant invoice number 60 is for $386.25.
That was updated, Mr. Chairman, and I did provide an updated copy at your
Yeah.
workstation.
Do I have the wrong number?
It was updated
It was
after
updated.
the meeting
I
packet
didn't
was
see
sent
it.
out.
Oh, my apologies.
I didn't
So
see
the
it.
updated amount after, I guess today's, was it today's and yesterday's items?
That's correct.
Yep. So the new amount for invoice number 60 is $412. So I'd be looking for a motion to approve that invoice.
Motion to approve the invoice?
Second?
Any discussion?
None.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That was unanimous, Donna.
Thank you.
We'll fill that out at the end of the meeting. The other item that is going to be a regular thing, but is new to this invoice or this packet, is the office cleaning. We did hire Get It Clean to come in and take care of the office, as it is not Donna's responsibility to clean our toilets. They did a very nice job, and this will be a recurring bill once a month. So I would need a motion to approve invoice, so I'm gonna give you the last 3 digits, 844, in the amount of $100.
Motion to approve the cleaning invoice?
Second?
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
That was unanimous, Donna. What's next? Financial review, Reggie.
Okay, as you know, Abington Bank and Envision Bank have merged. They have a new system. It did take me a little bit of time I'm still learning their system. It's a little different from Envision. But I've talked to them on a couple of occasions. They know who we are, at least they know who I am.
They know who I am too. I've been in there.
You know, so we're able to continue to get our bank statements on electronically, which is really good still. We have $51,154.07 that we're carrying over from 2022. Which is approximately $7,000 more than I had projected. So that is a really good thing. Let me just pull up my little sheet here. So along with that, we have $627,176.45 in our portfolio. That is actually a loss of $13,962 from the end of November, or the beginning of December through the end of December. And it's going up and it's going down, so.
May I make a comment on that? I know we don't often bring Bartholomew in, however, I do follow this a little bit, and due to the extreme market fluctuations we've seen as of late, I know a lot of investors are leaning on T-bonds as safer bets. Could you reach out to Bartholomew and talk to them about the future of this uncertainty, and maybe if they had some answers, they could come in and have a discussion with that, about that with us?
They actually come in on an annual basis.
We're not due though for a while, are we?
Up till.
It might be coming up.
It's coming up,
Yeah.
because at the end of the year, so within 90 days, they can come in. So we can invite them to come to our February or our March, meeting.
Let me give it, I want to look at February schedule before I stack people like that, but
Yeah,
certainly by
that's
March, I
fine.
think I'd like to have
They're
them.
more than willing,
Okay.
they've indicated to me on several occasions, anytime they want.
Yeah, I know they did, which is why
Yeah,
a lot of people are talking about, look, let's just cover our assets at this point and
Exactly.
move into T-bonds for the moment.
our hard asset remains the same at $4,458,300. So what we have in terms of total assets is $5,136,630. What we have is cash available to us is $678,300. One of the things that we will need to do, and I need Donna to assist in this, is that we need to get hard copies of our bank statements from January through December, so that whoever we choose to do our financial review will have the information available.
Sure, I have them all in a notebook, so.
And we'll get to that on item 3, and that should be a quick discussion, so go ahead. Finish.
So, that's my report.
It's not me, is it, Donna?
No,
Okay.
Does it look like a truck?
Push your button.
it's a black truck.
Yep, that's him.
It's magic.
Good job, Reggie. All right, continue.
That's my report, Mr. Chairman.
Excellent, thank you. Now, the next 2 items, suburban shopper and annual budget, may as well keep going.
Okay, what I'd like to try to do is on the suburban shopper, which is part of the marketing. I'd like to attack the budget first.
Sure.
And
We can
it
table,
all kind of like it all follows through.
so we'll table C1 until we've attacked C2. So
So,
the next item will be the annual budget.
as I had indicated, we have rolled over $51,154.07 from 2022, and I pushed that into 2023's budget. I estimate that we're going to, through our rental property, receive $46,849.68 for 2023. And for a very short period of time, we're going to get $4,200 from the lease payment for 3 months for 725 Washington Street.
I don't think we should have the 51,000 in there.
Pardon me?
I don't think we should have the 51,000 in there.
You don't want to roll it in?
It's a balance sheet item, it's not an income item.
Okay.
It's not income.
No, it isn't income, it's accrued income, but it's not new income.
It's not
I
even
agree.
accrued income, it's a balance sheet item. That's a
That's
cash
true,
account.
yeah.
All right,
So would it be satisfactory if we just marked that as end of year retained?
Maybe we could note, like, put it at the
Yeah.
bottom here somewhere,
Yeah.
but, you know, when I first saw this, I was confused.
Okay. Do you,
I have no problem,
okay.
as long as we can use it.
Oh, yeah, no, we can use it. I
Yeah,
just think You wanna compare apples to apples, like,
Yeah.
if somebody were looking at this, they would probably have the same.
I know exactly what you're saying, yeah.
Okay, so I'll make a notation that, a balance sheet item,
Thank you.
you know? So what we're projecting, or what I'm projecting for 2023 that we have available to spend on income that we are either carrying over or receiving from our rents is $102,263.75. And of course, this is a living document, so if we needed to transfer some dollars from our portfolio, we're always able to do that. But I tried to stay away from that, you know, only in the event of an emergency of some sort.
So our earnings for the year would be $51,109.68, and then we're adding last year's leftover budget money of
Well,
51,154.
Well, our earnings, our actual earnings, yeah. we did
Yeah.
51, right?
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
right.
Just wanted to clarify that when you had brought that issue up.
Yeah, no, it's the 46 and the 4,200.
Yeah. You know, so for expenses, what I've actually done is on administrative salaries, you know, I bumped it up to $600 because it appears we may be a little more busy in 2023 than we were in 2022. And therefore, I don't anticipate that we would go over that amount, but I wanted to make sure that we had ample enough so that we didn't have to keep coming back and trying to approve dollar amounts for our administrative assistant.
I do feel it's high, but I also understand the reason for you doing that, and I'm fine with it, so.
For legal, once again, you know,
Probably way more than we need, but,
and I hope it's way more than we need.
yeah.
But I knew that, you know, we may need it at some point. And hopefully we won't, and therefore we can either use it as Andrew said, you know, that balance sheet, you know, or we can push it to another item as we get further down the road, further into the year. The urban renewal plan process, I know that we have a balance of about $10,000. In terms of what has not been paid, we've paid just about everything else with the exception of that $9,996.
So you just budgeted that out of the
So I
12
just kind
months.
of like plugged that number in, and I kept separate what is the NEPA application.
I saw that, yeah.
You know, so from what I understand, they actually paid $1,000 in terms of trying to do something with the NEPA. So and that's why instead of 16,000, it's at 15,000.
And a representative from BSC, I'm not sure, I believe it's going to be the person who handles the MEPA applications normally, and possibly Jeff as well. Jeff Vassar will be here at our February meeting
Okay.
to meet with Mass Housing on that.
You know, we actually have two leases. One is for 725 Washington Street, and one is for 7 Pearl Street. You'll note that I projected the 1,400, which I think is accurate.
It is.
And it's 4,200 for the 3 months that we'll be responsible for. My understanding is that after April, we will.
After March 31st.
After March
Yeah,
31st, we will no longer be responsible for maintaining any responsibilities as it relates to 725 Washington Street.
Our lease ends on the 31st of March there. And I've already begun discussions with Ms. Carr about her activating a lease with the owner of that property. So she's aware of what's going on, is what I'm getting at.
Our lease, and we all know our lease payment is $600 plus electric utilities. you'll see a $700
Yeah, I did.
fee there, but that includes the cleaning contract that we got. So it's $600 is the actual rent payment, and $100 for the cleaning of the office. Utilities, you know, I projected that at 150. So far, we are under $100 a month. You know, and sometimes it'll be a little higher, and most times it'll probably be a little lower. I did that, you know, in anticipation that we'll have a surplus moving into June, July, and August, whereby we may have to utilize the air conditioning. And if we do, of course, the electric bill will go up slightly.
Yeah, but we use this office, I mean, we do use it and use it often enough, but at the end of the day, I don't see
Yeah, no,
I don't see us getting crushed on that.
I've been looking at it, and you know, it's been generally it's been under $100, you know, for the short term period of time that we've been here. And even when we're here in the summer, we won't be running the air conditioning all day.
All day, no.
It'll just be for that
Heat.
year, for that period of time that it's being utilized. IT equipment, I put in $3,600 for this. We may want to really take a good look at that one in the event that we may have some other purchases that we want to purchase to really modernize our office, particularly if we decide that we want to go on a hybrid spree, so to speak.
And that's something coming up on the agenda at a later item, so we can talk more about that then.
The insurances are, these are the $3,300 that I have projected here. These are the dollars that we actually spent in previous years.
Liability and directors.
Liability,
Yep.
directors,
Yep.
insurance. So I kept it there. I don't see it going down. It
No,
may
it'll go
up
up.
a few dollars.
But we won't know until
Right.
March 1st what those numbers are, and I'm aware of that and staying on top of that, where we don't get that information until the last minute.
And the same goes for the financial review. For the past 3 or 4 years, our bill has been $23.52, right around that dollar. It has not gone up. I know that we'll be discussing that
We will,
in
yeah.
the future. And it would be great if we could stay right around that figure.
Understood.
And in the notes section there, it says annual financial review payment for 2021 is because we have not done 2022 yet.
No.
So, the marketing, you know, compared to last year, you know, it's actually approximately $5,000 in terms of an estimated cost. And that is because I think that we'll need to let people know who we are, what we're doing on an ongoing basis. So there are some things that we think we want to advertise. There'll be some things that we want to be able to reach out to people. I know that we're in the process of really, you know, pumping up the website. And I know that one of the things that we had a discussion about last year, the year before, was not just have a website where we tell people to go to the website to find
We
out
go
what's
to
going
that.
on. Is that we have a vehicle that we can reach out to people, give them some information, and tell them this is where you can get additional information.
I think
So,
that's prudent.
you know, and I think that is being more transparent than to be able to say, well, we got a website, you should have went on there. You know, it's no, we're telling you a little bit of information, and here's where the rest of that information remains. And of course, that will take into consideration, because some of us, you know, at least had a discussion about constant contact and other types of suburban shopper.
Which we're gonna get to later
And
tonight as well.
things of that dear nature. You know, so hopefully we won't spend it, but it's a good possibility.
It's a fair number for a budget.
Andrew?
No, that's cool, I mean, we've been talking about a lot of this stuff. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are. I don't wanna spend
You know.
time repeating stuff.
In terms of the supplies, in the past, I know that when we didn't have an office, we had a very small budget in terms of office supplies. As a matter of fact, what we did is we had like $300 on an annual basis. But we do have an office now, and we have a need for a lot of things that we never had to think about in the past. Little things, cups, toilet paper.
Not only that, Reggie, but if that copy machine ends up requiring 4 cartridges, that's $1,200. So I don't think this is out of control.
The
The
Savin
Savin,
machine,
yeah, which has been immensely helpful to the office and to Donna, but they're not cheap. They're about $300 a piece on those cartridges.
You know.
There's color and black and white. So
And
I think it's a fair number.
And I wonder when the lady, I forget the name of the company, that donated it to us.
Mrs. T. Burge.
She had indicated.
Diane.
She had indicated that, that we still have the ability to go under a service contract. I have no idea if the service contract covers
No,
things of that nature.
not generally. It doesn't
You know,
cover ink. It covers repairs.
repairs.
Yeah.
But we will need ink
At some
at
point.
some point.
So I don't know when. That's kind of will be a surprise.
So, and I.
But we have the money scheduled here for it in the budget. So
And then, here's, in terms of the discretionary fund, in the past, we've had people that have passed away, have been ill, generally not associated with operations, but we wanted to be able to send out a get well or a condolence card, flowers, candy, whatever that might be. So I figured I'd stick in, a very small amount of $300 for thank you cards, condolences, and get well cards. I think it's a good touch. We are we are government. And
Yeah,
it's
we
good. It's good government to be able to let people know that we do care about them. In the event that we know of some type of a tragedy or illness, whether it be one of us or somebody we know in the community.
agreed.
Then meeting expenses, this is really sort of a new line item. I thought it was very important though. It's not a lot of dollars, but I did allocate approximately $480, which I sort of said it was $40 per meeting, which is a little high, but and it's for not just our meetings. Because for us, it's 12 meetings. But I put in an additional 12 sub-committee meetings that we may either have or sponsor here at the SRA office. And again, right now, we're right around $20 per meeting.
Yeah, it's not out of control or unreasonable. And we had an instance where, we had a subcommittee meeting with 2 select
That's right.
board members, and they were, they kind of rushed here and
Yeah.
hadn't eaten. So I think it's a courtesy to provide
In the
something.
open house for the veterans.
Yeah, we had the open house.
That's right. I'm sure that we're going to have more.
But that was a great opportunity
Yeah.
to join the community, and that worked out very well.
And an aside on that, I have a number of pictures of the
Veterans Day.
Veterans Day event. That I'm gonna try to figure out how to get them onto a flash drive and we can put them on.
Help her with that, yeah, get those to Donna, even if it's just the, the
If you can
thing.
attach them to an email and send me the email.
Good luck.
You're right.
It's the technology.
Um,
Give her the camera, she'll
I'll give her the
download it
camera.
for you.
So it came out, I'm sorry, the operational
That was the only other thing.
consultant. I allocated $10,800 for a consultant to help in terms of operations in the managing SRA office. at some point, maybe not, right away, but at some point, we're going to need to have somebody here in terms of being able to answer questions, provide information, or just let people know that we're alive in here. So it's not a full-time position. It may not even be a part-time position. I know Mark and I, we talked about the possibility of also trying to maybe utilize some of these funds as a stipend for internships.
Yeah.
And particularly, we're going to need that to help maintain, a website because somebody has to input, somebody has to take out the information. We don't want to have something that we did in 2019 scrolling across.
Still there.
The website.
Right now, I'm keeping the monitor up as far as updating the information, but I loved the idea of an intern. It gives our local colleges an opportunity for somebody who's entertaining a career in business or management to get their feet wet without a lot of pressure. So.
And I will say, I think we're too late for this year, at least the beginning of the year, but MAPC, they have a program in terms of the AmeriCorps.
We have an AmeriCorps office here.
That
Right here in
actually, provides, people that want to do this type of work, whether it's
That's another good
technology or
idea.
whatever
Yeah.
it is. And they actually pay them.
Yep.
And we have a certain responsibility in terms of supervision, place for them to sit, and things of that nature. So that's something that we can keep an eye on.
I don't think there's any harm in having a small amount there like that.
Yeah.
I think realistically, we're not even gonna be thinking about spending that money for the next 6 months, but after that, we're gonna be on top of that, so. We'll talk about that in a future meeting and the future of
Yeah.
that, but near
So,
future.
even though I spelled total wrong,
Yeah, you did.
it came out to $226.20, which gave us a surplus, a very small surplus of $37.55. That if we were to do exactly what is said here, we would pretty much break even. And what I tried to do is for 23 is an actual budget. But then 24 and 25, you will also see here, and you will see, what it is that we would actually be able to do and what type of dollars we would need to have to, run a balanced budget. And in both cases, we're about $11,500 and $18,500 for fiscal years 24 and 25.
Well, years 24 and 5,
Yeah.
because we're entering fiscal 24 in July.
I thought we were on a calendar.
We're on a calendar, yeah, but you said fiscal, so that's
Okay,
what threw me
alright,
off. So
calendar.
annual or calendar year
So,
24 and 5, yes.
We can easily, it could be easily covered if we have surplus dollars, but if we don't have surplus dollars, we can always reach in and transfer a small amount of money from our portfolio to cover whatever those costs might be.
Okay.
And that is the budget. The only other thing is that what I'm hoping to do, if we're able to pass this budget, is that on an ongoing basis, that as long as we're within these budget numbers, that we don't have to always come back and approve, sort of an item that is already approved in the budget. And I'll use Donna as an example. There's a $600 monthly amount that we can spend if we approve this budget. If it comes in that she spent $400, we owe her $412, that is an automatic payment. If for some reason it comes over $600, then we need to bring that back to the board, have that discussion of why is it over $600
And
to
vote on it.
approve that dollar amount.
So, from my perspective, the only thing about that I would have concern about is that we just bring it up in the, the routine matters.
Yeah.
I would like her dollar value spoken of.
Absolutely. I think all the dollar values can be.
Yeah, I just want people to, I don't want to be hiding it.
Yeah. No, I
Or
think that-
appear to be hiding it.
Because I think that once we go through, sort of the exercise of this is what we want to do, as we go down, we could take up an hour's worth of work,
Yeah.
talking about the various things
Yeah.
that we're doing, particularly as we get towards the spring.
Right.
And clearly, the beginning of the summer.
And also
August
focus
will
our
be a slow month.
energies in areas that.
Put our energy in
You
areas
need
that
them
we
more
more
for.
for have the discussion.
I know Andrew will be happy about cutting time off of anything we can, so. But I do want the public to know we will be mentioning that number and invoice every month. We don't have to vote on it, but I want people to know
Yeah,
this is
exactly.
what we're paying out, so.
Yeah, now, it gets really hard, is if you're thinking in the beginning, before a meeting,
Yeah,
February 1st, this is what you want to do,
Mm-hmm.
but you gotta wait until 2 weeks later to get it approved. And now those 2 weeks, now you've got to rush to get it done before the end of the month.
agreed. Agreed,
So,
Reggie.
Mr. Chairman, that is the budget. Clearly, it's gonna be a living document. None of these are really set in stone. I prepared this for us to really discuss and hopefully,
Vote on it.
vote on it.
Do you have any questions about the budget, other than what you've already brought up?
I think the operational consultant might be a little high.
Okay.
I mean, that's our third highest expense
Yes, it is.
on an annual basis.
Mhm.
And, if we're doing all the technology stuff, it's kind of redundant to have the human person, kind of taking up the being responsive and reactive to people. Well, that's where the technology and the website and the email communication and all that other stuff should occur.
But who maintains that? I think that was sort of where you were coming from, and I'm not arguing whether or not it's a high
No.
number,
No,
but
I hear you. I mean,
it's-
but that's a different cost. If there's a website maintenance cost versus someone physically being here and interacting with folks, that's two totally different costs.
So would you be suggesting that we take some of those dollars away and put them into the IT?
Possibly.
yeah, you'd be better,
I
you'd
mean,
feel
I just
better
think,
about that.
I mean, where the world is going, I mean, you leverage
Yeah,
it.
no, it's a valid point.
To have someone physically here to me sounds like,
And I don't wanna, I mean, I think we have to look within our own parameters for if we do decide to open this office. Like, I have been coming on Saturdays at least once a month, and just being here, letting people know, look, I'll be down at the office, so drop in. So far, it's been very much organic and just talking to people who are bringing questions up to me. At least from this perspective, I'm not exceeding a lot of time. I'm utilizing that time doing things I need to do for the SRA anyway, so why not sit here and do it in quiet? Versus, juggling kids and the regular
Yeah.
what have yous of home. If we were to, and I at least partially agree with what you're saying, they are really two different expenses. I think what I would like to see happen is if, Reggie, you're willing to split the operational consultant number in half and put the half that we're taking down into the IT
well, we just clarify the IT, that it's IT or website management
or
as well.
website management. And then, so you'll increase that number from 36 to
86?
54 and, what have you.
Yeah, it's 86.
Yeah.
Yeah, 86. Then,
And because this
if
is,
you're okay with that,
Well, the other thing is though, we got Wix here on the agenda.
We do.
Which Wix is gonna do the maintenance on the
Right.
website, and that's
Right.
not gonna cost $5,000.
right.
no, we have that information. It's, but again, it's, what we're trying to do right now is I'm trying to get a budget passed. It is a living document, as you said. So I'm perfectly fine putting that money into the IT and then removing it later if we don't see the need for it. I frankly don't think we're gonna spend much of that on.
No, I don't either, I
itself
just am saying,
budget.
like, to see,
Right.
when I see that as being third highest projected expense. I'm like,
You know,
The
it's not an
only-
area I would spend money.
Right, the second, if I may, the second option would be to remove the 10.8 from this altogether, put it into the surplus at the end,
right.
and then simply vote on this as we go. I mean, the money's still
That's what I
gonna
would
be.
rather do.
So why
That's not a bad
are
idea.
you okay with that?
I'm okay with that, because like I said, this is a living document. If
Okay.
all of a sudden, we got $0 for a consultant, operational consultant, and all of a sudden we say, oh, wow, I think we need the person for
Then
this
it triggers
month.
a conversation.
It could
And
be
that's
a
a
one-off
conversation.
thing.
Yeah,
Could
and
be one off
it triggers the conversation for us, once we've done our research, to have that conversation. I'm perfectly fine with that.
I
The
like that
dollars
idea.
is still there.
I like that idea because the
Okay.
money is still there.
So there are a couple of things here. We're going to mark the carryover, Reggie.
Yep.
And, you know, clearly, you're gonna take it off the top of the budget and mark it separately at the bottom as a notation.
Yeah.
You're gonna remove the 10.8 operational consultant line item. And then you're gonna adjust the net surplus to include that 10.8.
Right.
And then the other thing I would, you know, I don't wanna.
No,
spend
go,
too much time
I
on
wanna
this,
hear it, yeah.
The future years, I would just increase everything across the board by 3 to 5%.
That's not an unfair statement, yeah.
And then,
Which is
also,
probably not gonna be enough, but it's good for a
but I
budget.
think we, you know, because I don't want to flatline it, although we don't get ahead of
Right.
ourselves. But the other thing is, it may give us a sense too of what we want to do with the rental payments.
Mhm.
Because if we're seeing that shortfall, it kind of gives us a target to work within. And because, you know, we've been all over the map on the rental payments. We're
Yeah.
kinda like, hey,
Yep.
here's what we think is fair, but what do we need?
Right.
So if we need that, then maybe that's the number we're looking to hit.
So I did think of that when we were, now it's not reflected here in this budget currently, and I like your idea of doing that, but I gave a good deal of thought to what are we realistically going to need? Our future needs likely will include a part or full-time employee that will manage not only the marketing, but the business will be doing here, the projects, if you will. I also figured that in. We've got a pretty large gap, if you think about it, from the cost of an employee that will handle that, even if it was a consultant, and what we bring in now, or what we could anticipate bringing in the near future. So that's something we have to discuss, but it's sort of a horse and cart thing, and I feel that this is the cart. We haven't even gotten the horse out of the stable yet. Let's get the horse out of the stable.
I don't have a problem with that at all.
Yeah, and the horse is obviously the URP, so we need that done. Once that's done, then we have to engage on a more immediate basis, the discussion of how we're gonna handle staffing.
And the idea really is that URP will give us the opportunity to actually raise some other dollars.
It could,
You
yes.
know, so $10,000 here, you know, $5,000 here, and all of a sudden, you know, it begins to cover that 3 or 5%, whatever it might be, in terms of the gap.
And I agree with you, but I must admit, when I started to really look at what our overall costs were, as quickly as I could add dollars, a little bit here and a little bit there, it gobbled 3 times as much up.
Yeah.
So it's clear to me at least, and again, we're too early for this conversation, but it's clear for me, we're gonna need an additional source of income, or a pretty large expansion of our current income. With that said, that's something I think collectively we need to start to think about, but we gotta get through this first.
Yeah.
This is it's the horse, you know?
Well, I'll tell you, you know, as treasurer, you know, in the back of my head really is saying that I need to be, you know, a little more aggressive in terms of identifying outside sources of funding to.
We really need to look at that community benefits.
And I really do believe that those dollars are there. At least, you know, I see at least $25,000 that we can bring in, and that's just for, you know, asking, you know, and that's why it's important for me to have this this ribbon cutting, you know,
Understood.
which really begins to let people know, you know, we're here, we're doing some things, and we're going to need some help. So I
Fair
can
enough.
easily increase this to 3%. I can increase it until this.
Increase it for 24 and 25.
I'll increase it, and I can wipe out
Remove
based
the
on whatever.
operation.
Well, I can wipe out the deficit. So
Yes,
I can
you
take
can.
3%
Yep.
and see what that actually does in terms of having a balanced budget. If we need 4%, you know, I can do that as well. So I can do, you know, because this is all in a formula, I can change, you know, some of the numbers around fairly quickly, you know, to get this to be a balanced budget for both 24 and 25.
I agree. Are we comfortable, given the discussion we've had tonight, with taking a vote on this? Or do we need some time? And I ask because we're in a little bit of a pickle right now. Without the budget, which is why I wanted to do it in December, but Reggie had a health situation. There's nothing we could do about that. We really are stuck without being able to spend money if we don't have a budget passed. Or at least that has been our policy, is to get the budget passed. So, are you confident enough, Andrew, in the changes we've made tonight to be able to take a vote on this?
Yeah, just removing that operational
Yeah.
consideration. Yeah.
And then increasing 3 to 5% on 24
Yeah,
to
the future
25
years, the future
projections.
years.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll make it so that it balances.
Okay.
Maybe more than 3%, but I would do at least 3 and see where
Yeah.
that comes out at.
So I would need a motion tonight, or I would like a motion tonight to approve the budget with the changes we discussed.
Motion to approve the budget with changes discussed.
Can I second that?
You can.
Second.
Okay. Any further discussion?
No.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
It's unanimous, Donna.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now you can
Ladies
get
and
lemon
gentlemen.
squares.
Now,
Like you
now I'm gonna eat that. Now I'm gonna eat the other lemon square. And
With that said, we want to bounce back to the C1 item we tabled. with
Yes,
the shopper.
the urban suburban shopper, you know, which really comes underneath of the marketing piece. You know, what I wanted to be able to do is begin our marketing effort with advertising our press release in the suburban shopper. And now that we have a date for the
You want the funds to do so.
I want to be able to do that, but now that we have a date for the ribbon cutting, I'd like to add that in there so that, you know, folks have an understanding that that's what we're going to do. And it really begins to kick off the marketing effort for the SRA.
We have the budget money to do it. I'm fine with it. You're okay with it? Go ahead, make it so, number one. Number two. Number T.
All right.
Yeah, I have no issue with that, Reggie.
Yeah.
We knew that was coming. Anything else on that?
No, that's it. Thank you very much. I did spend some time on this budget, and like I say, you know, I just like to be able to get to a point where, you know, hey, you know, we should be letting people know, at least the board members know, that we're either under budget, on budget, or over budget, and, you know, be as transparent, you know, to the public as we possibly can, and, you know, let folks know that we exist, we have a budget, and we're paying attention to it, and we're doing exactly what we said we were going to do.
Agreed.
So thank
And
you again.
I suspect that budget will be under that budget, so.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure too.
Item D was correspondence. We had just 2 things that were in your packet. One was the correspondence on the meeting with Town Manager Coulter, and the second was a greeting card from Patriot Renewables. Action item list. Donnie, you want to start on that?
Sure. I completed everything that was on my list. It's the usual items that I do. I posted the video of the meeting onto the town website and onto Facebook. I posted the signed minutes after the meeting at Town Hall and filed the original here in the office. I typed the minutes, for the prior meeting, paid the utility bills, paid the rent, contacted, Joyce Hosseini, the head of, the maintenance at the Stoughton schools regarding the excess furniture. I did not hear back. I sent a transcription of emails to members, created, the action lists, sent out, a letter to, Abington Bank, I believe.
Yep.
Contacted BSC about the price list for the markups, sent Conroy the letter, contacted the cleaner for the office, sent out a letter to audit firms, we did hear back from one, contacted, a member of the CAG, Abby Dusseldorp, and invited her to our next meeting in February. Did contact an electrician, about some work the chairman would like to have done in the office.
So just a real brief thing on the electrical, we have a faulty connection in the bathroom on the light. When you pull the string, it wobbles and winks, and I'm not dealing with that. Yeah, I don't need to burn the building down, that is part of our obligations as tenants, so I didn't ask about it because it's an obligation. I will let you know how that comes in. They anticipate doing the work next week. In your packet, you'll find a list of the CPC recommended projects. That's your truck again.
You have my dog in it.
Put them down. Is your dog in it?
No,
No.
he would set it off.
Yeah, you would. I included a list as part of my CPC update. We have a total of 10 projects this year alone, totaling $2.170 million. All cash articles. I provided the listing for you so you could see where the town's tax money is going when it comes to the CPC. This, if all these articles are passed by town meeting, this will represent about a third of our total holdings, if you will. The CPC for many years built up a chest of money, did a lot of borrowing. There's a different philosophy right now where we have such a large amount of money, and borrowing is not advantageous right now. It was one thing to borrow money when it was at 2%. We're at 6 or 7% now, and it's no longer cheap to borrow money. So we made the decision all the way through our list, including nearly $1 million for a playground at the Hanson School, to all be paid in cash. But that will bring our retainings, if you will, what we have left in savings, down to about $4 million, a little bit less. 3.6, I think, off the top of my head. The 11th article we have is our budget, which is mandatory and standard from year to year. Other than that, and all those articles but one passed unanimously, so they all had really good information with them. They were solid articles. There was a negative vote on one of the articles. And that was more of a technicality thing.
You know, one of the things I like about, and every entity says this, about being transparent. You know, and so far, and I don't pay attention to, you know, a lot of these things that are going on in the town, but I know that we're fairly transparent with what it is that we're doing, particularly around money.
Yep.
The CPC, we get a report that's actually televised and taped, so it's also transparent. I wish that the other entities in town were as transparent in terms of the dollars that are being spent on the behalf of its on behalf of its residents. It would be really nice to get an understanding that if you put $16 million for road repair, are you spending it? And if you are spending it, what roads are being repaired? It would be really nice to be able to get that type of information. We're a small town with 30,000 people. We, at one point, I know, it was a $116 million budget. And
Last year,
I don't get a sense. I see things happening, but I don't get a sense of what it costs, who's doing it, when is it happening. you know, all of a sudden something happens and it's there, and then you never know that it's there if you live on the other side of town. That's my only comment. It's, you know, something that I think that all the entities that have a responsibility for money should be doing, making sure that its residents know what it is that they're spending and why they're spending it and where it's being spent.
Well, from my perspective, the CPC is a public fund, if you think about it. It's a line item tax that we all pay 1.5% of. And I have always felt it was important to be as transparent as possible with this money. It's not play money, but it is money meant to improve the quality of life in Stoughton. If we were doing something wrong, I would expect somebody would speak up on that. This is actually a pretty good mix from historical to recreation, although I will say it is heavy in recreation. In fairness to that statement, one of the main things that the public told us when we did our CP review and our plan on an annual, or every 3 years, people definitively said it was recreation they wanted. So I think this reflects amply what people would like to have happen with this money. I will say the one negligent piece of this, and it's something we're hoping to focus on in 2023, is housing.
It's housing, yes.
We do very little in housing, nothing in housing, as a matter of fact. If it wasn't for the COVID relief fund that I spearheaded with some other members of the CPC and residents, we wouldn't have done anything with community housing. We're required to at least put 10% aside every year for that. It really needs to start to be spent on.
Is that something that a developer could come and say?
Sure could.
You know, hey, I'm short $500,000.
Yes.
Okay.
The one problem with that is there are very few developers willing to wait 6 to 18 months to access that money. So they generally move on without our money because it's a complicated situation. It was one of the reasons an affordable housing trust was so attractive. But needless to say, as of yet, we do not have one. So
one question on the recreational in green space area. Mm-hmm. Once it's funded, and we use Glen Echo as an example, CPC paid for all of the improvements.
And the purchase, yes.
And the purchase.
Yes.
Who maintains that?
The town.
The town will maintain that.
CPC is not allowed by statute to maintain anything, but we're allowed to purchase and create or restore.
So, if we a year from now go through there and the trash is overspilling,
Then it's the DPW.
It's the
we need to
DPW.
go to. Well,
Okay.
I think it would be, if we're being fair, you should probably go to the select board. That's
Yeah.
their
No,
job is to direct that, but you could certainly contact
you
the
know,
DPW.
because I have
directly.
it's very nice.
Yeah, right now it is.
It's very nice right now. I've traveled the trails, you know, I even thought about, you know, not buying a kayak, but, you know, trying to figure out if I could
Nice,
borrow
yeah.
a kayak,
Yeah.
you know, for the summer months. But then I began to just think in terms of money, and I says, okay, CPC bought it, they fixed it, you know, now this becomes an expense, you know, for the town, both in DPW, because they gotta maintain it, and for security, you know, for the police department, I would assume they gotta make a round, you know.
Well, actually,
now and then.
that site, Glen Echo, is protected by a security gate that's hooked right into the police station. So
Okay.
the gate opens and closes at dawn and dusk. And if you get trapped in there, there's a very easy to use call box to call the
Yeah.
police station, and they can remotely access that and lift the gate for you. They can also come down and let you out, whichever they prefer to do.
You know, if you haven't been by there, you should go by and take a look.
Beautiful
It's
area,
just
yeah.
Really nice,
Yeah.
very nice.
And there are a lot of volunteers that constantly go through these trails and update them. And in fairness, Conservation Commission is another entity that does a lot of that maintenance that the CPC can't do. So we're not allowed to do that by statute. Concom knows that they have a budget and they use that budget to do a lot of that maintenance. grants and get grants to do that. So we really have a good team between conservation and the CPC.
Big congratulations to the CBC for the work that it does.
Yeah, there's been a lot of hard work this year, so very busy year too. We have talked about the press release already, so we're gonna move on that. You're gonna give us the final draft of that press release, just so, including the information. Okay, the rest of them are you right now, Rich?
All right. I have talked to a couple of banks and a foundation about sponsoring these hybrid meetings. In all three cases, they all want to know a little more about, what it would entail, and they're all focused in on, well, what is it going to cost us?
So I gave you all at last meeting, and we should have it still, the estimate
Yeah.
that I detailed out. I could certainly sharpen the pencil on that, because I admit, I buffed it a little bit.
Yeah,
Because we
if
weren't
you
sure.
could give me a final.
Yeah, I'll
what a
go
final
through and give
number
you more
is,
exact numbers. That's easy.
I'd be more than glad to go back.
It's gonna be very close to what that is, but yep, I could sharpen that up over the weekend and get that out to you before the weekend's end.
Okay, so, 2000 and,
Just make that a part of my action. Go ahead, sorry.
so not only do we send out the 2023 budget.
We got the
but
budget
approved
done, yep,
You
no need
know,
to talk about that anymore.
Agreed to, I have not done anything with BSC in terms of the updating of their, the website.
So that is actually an item we're gonna talk about tonight, I think we can skip that for the moment,
Okay.
Reggie.
I've actually finished, and I want to send it out to you. I should have sent it out to you already. My bad. Which is the summary regarding the community benefits piece.
Yeah, that would be of interest.
I have finalized that. I've actually amended it a couple of times. So that it didn't look like we were always just asking for money.
Did you see there was a piece of paper put into the door, I had it put into your packet from Stanley Zoll based on community benefits. It's in your packet, look at it at the end of the meeting. I don't know if
But
it'll help or
I
not,
did
but-
add into the financial literacy training, first-time home ownership programs, that they can either conduct themselves, because at the one meeting we had, Roberta said that there were a number of banks that had their own program. So I had put it in both as a cost as well as an in-kind cost. And I also asked for, in terms of the community benefit, is some actual hard dollars, for to be frank, operations of the SRA. Yeah. I will send that out to you because it is complete. And again, it's a living document. If people want to add some more things in there, I'm fine with that.
Send it out, let's everybody put our heads together, make any comments for our February meeting. I'd really like to have that settled by then.
Yep.
So, go ahead.
The finalizing of the greeting packet, actually the letter is complete.
Yeah.
Last meeting, I know that we talked about a candy dish of some sort. We can do more if we wanted to, do some pens or booklets or whatever that might be that would come underneath the marketing.
Right.
But there are a number of businesses that have opened up last year. The idea is that not everybody would get a candy dish, but we do have a list of all the businesses in town. It needs to be, sort of amended so that we can actually put it into a spreadsheet. But we do have it, and it would be nice to be able to send out a digital, hello and happy New Year. And
So that's gonna
special.
come in a minute too, and yeah, I agree with you. I had some thoughts on this, but
Okay.
I would like to sort of put heads together with you and Andrew, you had a lot of input on that as well. I've looked at some innovative ways businesses have created welcoming packets. So I think we could
But
talk
I
about
will tell you, I've gone to a couple of new businesses. One next door.
Mhm.
Uh,
They were
They're very
great.
nice, yeah.
They're
Yeah.
really nice.
I really enjoyed meeting them and getting
You
to
know,
know them.
And I went to a new barber shop that is on
Freeman Street.
Freeman Street.
Yep.
You know, and then there was another shop down called Billy's Haircut, barber shop type, you know, down on the strip.
Mhm.
You know, and in each case, people thought, oh wow, that's really nice.
We also have a new Jamaican restaurant right here.
You know,
Two of them actually. And the Toffee Social is up and running now.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know about that one, but
Yeah.
those are the types of things
Primarily
that
a bar, but they serve tapas type of
But
food.
those are the things that make people feel welcomed. You know, it's like, you know, they've gone through and they've gone through.
And we probably have 12 businesses that we could formally introduce ourselves to.
You know.
One of them we know from 23 Wyman, which we assisted
Right.
in setting up there.
So it
But
is.
still, they're doing very well, by
You
the
know,
way.
and it's just something nice to be able to let somebody know that, you know, hey, you took time out to open up your business here. You know, Stoughton is welcoming you.
So why don't we polish off, I'd like to put something together for February's meeting, polished with real examples in that packet, and we'll make some decisions on that in February. How's that sound?
All right.
You don't have to go over the press release.
Okay.
And you did the bank
And
statement.
Donna got the bank statement.
Mhm.
Yes.
And
So if I may,
Go ahead.
on the public hearings being on hold because of the mock-ups. So this morning I received the final mock-ups on Wyman Street and Pleasant Street. Sorry, I only live off of it. So I've got 14 or 15 variations to share with you. I literally got them at 11 o'clock
Yeah.
this morning. And I've had some other things going on that did not allow me to get that information out to anybody. I will share that with all. I will be setting up a second subcommittee meeting in the next couple of weeks. I am trying to be respectful of the select board's schedule right now as they're closing up the budget discussions for the town. I know that within the next 2 weeks, we can have another meeting with the subcommittee, and I think we'll have a lot more to present in February on that. In between those times, I'll make sure all the members get the mock-ups so you can begin to comment on them. Again, my only suggestion on comments is that you send them directly to Donna so that we don't run the risk of starting to dialogue about it back and forth and running the risk of open meeting violations. So it all goes to Donna. We can all see it, but we won't talk about it until our next meeting, okay?
absolutely.
Roberta is not here, so we're gonna skip over her item until February.
But actually, you know, for that,
She's
you
here
know,
again.
the holiday lighting was approved.
Good point, yeah.
You know,
Well, so the Friends of Stoughton Center held a meeting tonight,
yeah,
which was a little frustrating for me because our monthly meetings are on the second Wednesday of every month. There was clearly a disconnect, so I'll need you to contact
Joe. Who is the
John Stagnone and Rachel
Yeah.
Morton and get an update and say, look, in the future, don't schedule things on the second Wednesday.
Well, particularly since they agreed,
They agreed to
we
make us a
were-
part
we
of
were
their
a partner.
conversation.
and we did contribute $2,000 for the lighting, and I'll tell you, the lighting did make a big difference. To
It was
me.
beautiful.
It was beautiful out there.
Andrew, you did give us the information from the audit firms, and we'll talk about that in a minute as
Who
well.
will reach out to the Friends of Stoughton Center?
Sorry,
Who will be the one to reach out to
do you want Donna to do it, or do you want to do it yourself?
Can you do it?
I can, I just wanna
Yep.
make sure it's assigned to
Have
someone.
Donna do it. Please let them know that it's a very inconvenient night for us where we already meet. So for
Right.
future meetings, we want to participate, so we would appreciate some consideration on that. Item number 3, if you're done with the action
I'm done.
items, I am too. Audit contract. So we sent out 3 letters to 3 different firms. We did receive correspondence from one of the firms Alan Smith, who said that the timing of it was just too late for his schedule for this coming year. He's the only one we have heard from at this point. So unless anything comes through between now and contacting Katz and Cancelleri, I would make the suggestion that we move to use Katz and Cancelleri again this year. I would further move that we act on this by August of this year here, so that we give ample time for firms. Is that an agreeable?
I think we can shorten that time period. I mean, we should decide by either the next meeting in March.
To contact the firms about the following years?
Yeah.
Whatever you'd like to do, I'm easy on that one. So why don't we set it for March, where we have a busy schedule in February?
I will get in contact with Katz
Yeah, Al.
and let them know that we want them to do it again this year.
Yep,
Because they do have to send out to Donna, what is
I
it,
know.
the
1099.
1099.
So let's hustle on that, and we'll schedule that for March. Please make sure that gets on the schedule, Donna. Wix web activation, you all have the information on the, the website, maintenance and activation. We just need a vote. Are we gonna do it or not?
Now I know that, we had a couple of different costs on that.
Yeah, there were different
Different
levels.
of
I don't see the need for high-end levels on this. I would go with the second tier on this because it provides some IT support, that the first level is just bare minimum. It's, you pay for it and it gets to work. The next level up was not an extreme amount more money, but gave us a lot more access to customer service and technical help that I don't know anything about this stuff, so.
Can just remind me what that cost for the second tier was?
Donna, was it
Approximately.
80, 86, 84?
I don't remember.
Hang on, let me look it up.
86.
We'll move forward on more discussion on this, but annual rates, here we are here. The Pro, let's see. So there was Combo, which is a simple, not very, we want the logo, social media, and we wanted some video hours. The Unlimited was 22, does not give us video. The Pro is 27, it does. They claim the Pro to be, this is a per month, to be the
27.
best value. I didn't feel that there was any need for video. I'm not intending on putting video up there, so I don't, why pay for something I can't use?
So we're talking
$22.
$22 a month?
Yeah, yeah.
220, 260 bucks a year,
Something.
approximately.
264.
264.
The human calculator, yes. And that still gives us an hour of video, but what am I gonna do with it? It also gives us some storage space, which I think,
You never know when you might need the video, so
yeah,
I'm okay with it.
okay. So
You
I'll
can
need a
always
motion.
upgrade.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely, they're happy to take your
Yeah.
money for more.
They do.
I think we go ahead and start with the unlimited at 22. I'll take a motion to that effect if you're willing.
Motion to approve website activation through Wix.
For the unlimited plan at
For the
22 a
unlimited
month.
plan, 22 bucks.
And there's a
Second.
second. Any discussion?
No.
Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That was unanimous, Donna. All right, briefly, constant contacts. Did you have information on that?
I have a little bit of information on that, and actually the cost wasn't as high as I thought it was. It goes up in terms of the number of
Email addresses.
email addresses, So, but to start off, I think it was less than, I want to say it was around 27, I want to say it was around 27, 30 bucks a month for the lowest tier. And the lowest tier basically was for a membership of 500 people. And you can send out as many emails as you want. They will help you take our list and put it into a format. That's all part of the cost. And then as you go up, you would need to you'd need to pay more if all of a sudden you went to 5,000 people, you know?
So the core plan is $9.99 a month.
Yeah.
Price based on number of contacts. That's not gonna get me anywhere. Are you suggesting that's where we start?
I think we start there.
We can adjust it.
You know, and then you adjust it, you know, as you go along, you know, because we would need time, you know,
Yeah,
to kind of
$9.99
build.
for 500 contacts,
Right.
that's plenty in my opinion. Goes from 501 to 2,500 after that for 35. Let's start at the
You know,
500.
and the idea again is for me as the treasurer to be a little more aggressive in terms of saying to, you know, outside funders that we need someone to sponsor that, you know, at, you know, a few $100s a year. I think that we can get somebody, to do that. You know, Eastern Bank, I know, has pretty much said, send us a proposal and we will highly consider
Okay.
what it is that you're looking for.
So what you're looking for at this point is a motion to approve the core
Core
packaging
package,
for Constant Contact at this point. Do we have a motion to?
$10, yeah.
Yeah, for $9.99 a month.
Motion to approve Constant Contact at $9.99 a month?
Second?
All those in favor? Any discussion?
No.
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
It's unanimous, Donna. Technological needs for office.
Is that the Zoom thing?
It's the hybrid thing.
Hybrid, yeah, yeah.
So this is a little bit of a philosophical discussion we need to have. Theoretically, I could have just put this into our technological needs budget, but I really feel that I want everybody on board on this. This is not, so here's the thought. Maura Healey hasn't done anything about it yet, but our governor is expected to continue hybrid meetings for the foreseeable future. So we need to make a decision. Do we want to provide hybrid service or not? At our last meeting, I sensed some indifference about this. I have to put a sharpened estimate together so you can take it to the banks. I am in favor of putting this off and seeing what kind of response we get from a donor on this until February's meeting. However, it basically says we're not doing anything for the next month, and I'm okay with that. If there's discussion to be had, I want to hear it now. That's what I'm getting at. I mean, I guess from a philosophical point of view, do you want it or not? Do you want to invest in hybrid meeting availability or not?
How much?
The estimate for presentation, let me just see if this is what I'm looking for. So my budget I put together was at 1821.72, and that was buffered a bit. That was adding 10% to some of the items.
So my answer is yes.
Okay.
My answer is yes. At one point, it was much higher than that.
That's what I thought.
Oh, we were $10,000 when I spoke to the town about it. They averaged 10,000. I started to look at it. What's a 70-inch TV? I priced this out for a 70-inch Class M7 series TV, a panoramic webcam that follows the speaker, a wireless keyboard and mouse so it can be controlled from here, and miscellaneous wires, bracketing, and what have you. And that's what I came out with. And I put a big fat chunk of change in for wires and,
Yes.
and brackets. So
I'm okay with it.
I guess you get a better deal when you just buy it.
And wall mount too, that includes wall mount.
That was, I don't remember where I priced these things from. I know at least some
No,
of it
she
was
says
a
wall.
Yeah, cause
Oh yes, that included a wall bracket,
Okay.
yes, yeah, a wall mount.
Hey, you know, I think that's just a wave of the future. You know, I don't see how you get around. You know, the whole Zoom thing is where people are at this point.
Yeah, I hate to say it, but you're right.
You know, now I like Zoom. You know, for a lot of different reasons. But because I live so close to this office, you know, I don't mind coming to the office.
No.
But there are times during the year where I know I'm not going to be available. And it's really good to be able to, you know, log on.
I would rather have a full membership than.
And as opposed to, you know, trying to call in. And at that price, you know, I think that just makes us look, you know, like we're in 2023 and not
Right.
2000.
Especially if we have outside speakers coming in, like BSC, or they could zoom right into the meeting.
They could,
That's right.
and that would be a less expensive option.
Yes.
I wasn't tremendously in favor of hybrid initially, however, at our last CPC meeting, we had an issue where 2 speakers ended up with COVID, and at the very last minute, we ended up shifting to an all virtual meeting. There's definitely, given the health situation of the world and the convenience and the reality that municipal government's gonna continue to use this, I don't think this is a bad idea.
You know, and you know, what Donna just said, you know, in terms of, you know, having speakers, you know, we can have speakers come from Springfield,
Yep.
Worcester, anywhere, and have them piped right in, but they don't
Exactly.
actually have to come here,
I know.
you know? So I think that's
So-
it's a great idea, especially for the price.
Yeah, what I would suggest is that we have a motion to approve up to $2,000 in spending. However, that Reggie be given the time to follow up with the people you contacted prior to us spending the money. But by our February meeting, we'll have the equipment purchased and installed. Is that fair? And I'll get this sharpened up for you immediately.
And I'll tell you, you know, even if we use our money, I will
Yeah.
say, you know, to a potential funder, that this is what we need and we can reimburse ourselves.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
know, for that. You
So-
know, whoever it is, they can, you know, get the logo, get their logo, or whatever it is, if they pay for it, they can have that logo however they want to do it.
Sure.
You know, but yes.
Okay,
Uh,
so I need a motion to approve up to $2,000 for the purchase and installation of the necessary equipment to hold hybrid meetings and presentations.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
any discussion further? Hearing none, all those in favor? Opposed, that's unanimous, Donna. I did have a discussion on the markups of the downtown already, so I'm gonna pass on that item. It just happened to flow from something else in the action items list, so I don't think there's any further need. Item 8 is a discussion of the joint meeting with the Select Board and CPC. This is actually also going to include the Planning Board. This meeting is January 17th at 7:30. We anticipate being heard around 8. I am looking for a quorum and any members that can be present. And it is a hybrid meeting, so if you can't be physically in place, I would encourage you to call in or video in so that you can participate fully. I anticipate having a quorum from the CPC, and I'm hoping to have a quorum here as well. So if there's any discussion about what we're going to be discussing at this meeting, there were 2 particular items that Chairwoman Roberts had brought up to me. One was the armory, the second was the train station. I told her that from our, meaning SRA perspective, the train station is definitely something that we can have discussions about. I warned her that if you were looking for assistance from the Redevelopment Authority for the armory, it would have to be because you're turning it over to us to redevelop it. We can't give monies to a community municipal project. It's just not what we do with the authority. I did say, however, the CPC can do that. And that was one of the reasons for the multifaceted joint meeting. Bottom line is, those will be our 2 primary items. They are still speaking about open space. I feel very good about the open space contributions the CPC has brought to the table this year. Certainly, we all know we can handle infrastructure projects, assuming it is supporting a piece of property here that requires redevelopment. beyond that, I think it's gonna be a free-flowing thing with the select board. Again, Tom called to the town manager, he's expressed his earnest interest in working with us and partnering with us. So I anticipate a really positive meeting moving forward.
Well, I'm definitely gonna attend.
Thank you.
But I have to warn you that I would be, let me see how I can say this. I would be opposed, I guess, if they ask us for some money and we're not sitting at the table to do whatever it is they want to do with the train depot. We've invested dollars in terms of the recreation center, in terms of the depot, post office, and we have really not gotten any type of a return, on our investments. Now, if they want to partner with us in some type of a way, I'm all in favor of that.
So
But,
I can't speak for the chairwoman of the select board. However, I will tell you, my sense, having had a conversation at length with her about this particular meeting, is the select board is very interested in partnering with us.
Okay.
They realize that the past could have been done better, and they are very interested in including us in this conversation at this
That's
point.
good.
So this didn't sound like I want your money. This was,
Okay,
let's talk about how we can partner.
that's good.
Which was a really positive message, one that we haven't heard
Okay.
in the recent past. So it's a continuation of what we've been hearing, and I feel like this is going to be a positive meeting. I think you're going to be pleased when we come out. But
Yeah, well, I'll definitely be
I
there.
try not to put too much on anything because Lord knows things can go south quickly. But I think this is going to be fine. So at any rate, hopefully we can all be there. Andrew, you're going to be able to make it at least on a hybrid
I'll be in
basis?
Chicago, so possibly.
Possibly hybrid? All right. We hope you can be. If you can't and there's something you want talked about, please let me know so we can bring that up on your behalf.
Okay.
All right?
Thank you.
With that, item number 9 is an executive session item. So, there are 2 items tonight. One is to consider entering into executive session to consider possible acquisition of property for the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property if the chairman decides that an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the negotiating position of the public body pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21A6. And this is for 2 items, the lease for 100 Page Street landfill, and the second item was Pierce Street, although I'm gonna scratch Pierce Street because the circumstances on that property has changed. So this will only be for the lease for 100 Page Street. The second item is to discuss the reputation, character, physical condition, or mental health rather than professional competence of an individual, or to discuss the discipline or dismissal of or complaints or charges brought against a public officer, employee, staff member, or individual under Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21A1, i.e. complaint.
We actually can't do that though, because the individuals that were complaining.
So we're not going to be addressing the complaint, we're going to be addressing the future of the complaint. The complaint needs to be addressed. It can't be left as an open item. So there will be no discussion that would be detrimental to the person who the complaint was addressed to. However, I want to get this off of our executive session, and until it's addressed in one way or the other, we need to do something. So this will not be this will be an update, is really a good way of saying it.
Okay.
But it needs to be an executive session where it would be
Yes.
a violation against that person if I didn't do it in executive session. So consider it an update is the best way to look at it. So we need a motion to enter into executive session, and we will be adjourning from executive session, so SMAC and members of the public can be assured that we'll adjourn from executive. So we need a motion.
Motion,
Motion to enter into executive session.
second?
Under the items A and B as read. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's unanimous, Donna. To the public, I thank you for tuning in and look forward to seeing you again at our next meeting. Thank you. Good night now.